Well, it is once again Saturday, so it's time for Saturday Scopes. Welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Shakana, and Saturday Scopes is one of the ways that I choose to share the love of Christ through practical teaching, wisdom, just what the Lord has poured into my heart to share with others. This month we are in a series called The Family Circus. Welcome, Chi-Town Fats. Thanks for scoping with me. We're in a series this month called The Family Circus, and today the topic is the clown car or families of choice. So last week I talked some about things that you encounter in your family of origin that can be detrimental to your family, that can cause issues, strife, division, so forth. But not all bad. I talked about good things also. So this week, I want to start with what can happen because of some of those things that I talked about last week. A lot of times, well, first, let me talk about what a family of choice is. Family of choice is the people or groups that you choose as your family, whether it be your church family, your group of friends, a social organization, a sorority, fraternity, a lodge. Any of those types of things are considered your family of choice. It's not the people that you're born with, that you don't have a say-so in the matter, but it's the people that you choose to call family, that you choose to hang around, associate with, and to be a part of your inner circle. That also includes some of the negatives like gangs and stuff like that. So back to what I was saying about the detrimental things that can happen when the things that we talked about last week in your family of origin can bleed over into your family of choice when that competition is fostered, when there's favoritism, when there's feelings of not being wanted, not being made to feel like you're a part of the family. Sometimes that leads people to seek attention and acceptance from other places, and they choose bad families of choice. They choose negative influences, negative people, the wrong crowds to be their family of choice because they're not getting the love, the attention, the encouragement, and the validation that should come from their family of origin. That's how a lot of times people end up in gangs and in groups that may be headed down the wrong path. So on top of that, let's talk about some good families of choice and things that you can gain from your family of choice. A lot of times, especially if you're in ministry or a career where you're forced to move, to relocate, to travel a lot, that family of choice is very important because it's difficult to be in a place by yourself, to be all alone, to not have anybody, to not have a tangible support system in the location that you're in. So in those cases, your family of choice fills in the gaps and fills in some of that void where you don't have people to talk to, people to hang out with, people to celebrate with you, people, a shoulder to cry on, whatever it is that you need physically and tangibly that you would normally get from your family of origin. Those gaps are filled in by your family of choice. And sometimes when your family of origin is dysfunctional, your family of choice, sorry, I had a call. Your family of choice becomes your family of origin. People who are adopted, people who are in foster care. And I think that's a beautiful, wonderful, magical thing to know that somebody chose you to be their family. Sometimes circumstances aren't the greatest with families who have to give up their children for adoption or children who are placed in foster care. But for someone else to open up their heart, their home, and their family to say, we choose you, we want you to be a part of our family, we want to take you in, we want to love you and nurture you and things like that, is awesome. amazing. I've always wanted to adopt. And I remember when I was little, trying to convince my mom to adopt me a sister or brother. It didn't work, but hey, I still want to do it myself. Anywho, the next thing is social groups, which for me didn't quite work out. I didn't find a social group that really spoke to me, that drew me in, but I have several friends who are part of motorcycle clubs, sororities, fraternities, and those sisterhoods and brotherhoods have become their extended family and their families of choice, and have provided great fulfillment and support networks for them. The only caution that I have about those is be careful, especially if you are a Christian, be careful of the origins and the oaths or things that you have to recite or pledges and things like that some of the clubs require. Don't choose a family that goes against your moral grain. Don't choose to be a part of a social group or club that requires you to swear an oath or a pledge, or anything that you don't believe in or that goes against what you believe morally and spiritually. Sometimes when you don't take the time to research the origins, you open yourself up to attacks. So be careful of that, okay? The last thing I want to talk about with families of choice is church families. If you've grown up in church, been a part of church, or been fortunate enough to be at a place where you truly have a church family that becomes like your own, you find mothers and fathers and spiritual mothers and fathers. Sometimes you may find a natural, if you don't have one, someone to fill in that void or gap. Sisters and brothers, it becomes a community of support, of encouragement, of love, of people who will labor with you and on your behalf. And in any family of choice, you should see some of those same characteristics, same traits, and really strive to find a place where you feel like this is for me, whether it's church, whether it's work, a social group, sorority, fraternity, whatever. Make sure that it's for you, and don't feel bad if your family members, some of your other friends or whoever don't feel that same sense of belonging, because everything is not for everybody. Every group, every family of choice is not for everybody. That's why it's choice. The family that I choose may not be the family that my brother would choose, may not be the family that my mother would choose. That's the great thing about it. It's yours to choose. The people that you feel are deserving, the people that you feel have your best interests at heart, who support you, who encourage you, who love on you, who have stood with you through trials and tests, whatever the case may be. You get to pick. You get to fill in those slots in your family of choice. Nobody else. So it's really awesome to know that, yes, I have a family of origin. They're great, but guess what? I get a bonus family too. I get to add other members. I don't have any biological sisters, but my brother chose an awesome wife, so I got a sister-in-law. I have great female friends who I consider my sisters. So these women are my family of choice. These are my sisters. These are my brothers that I've chosen. My biological grandfathers, one passed away when I was really young and never got a chance to meet him. The other was not around. Really didn't get to know him or have a relationship with him. I remember seeing him a couple of times, but there was a man, and that is who I consider my grandfather. He was my grandmother's boyfriend. He was around pretty much from the time I was born up until I was an adult, and still around. I still keep in touch with him, still talk to him. And if you ask me, If anybody asks me, that's my granddaddy. He's the one who put me to bed at night and carried me up the steps when I fell asleep and played games with me and danced with me and all of those things that grandfathers do. It was him, nobody else. So I chose him to be my grandfather. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about the choices you make and who you choose to be your family. It's yours. Not to say that they overshadow or overtake your family of origin, but it is what it is. Relationships are different. They change, they're dynamic. Sometimes your family of choice, you have stronger bonds than your family of origin just because of the nature of relationships, communication, distance, a lot of things. But it's the great thing about family. It's varied, it's expansive, it's changing, it's forever changing and evolving, and you can add to it at any time, whether it's through marriage, through choice, through friendship, however you want to add to your family. But I call it the clown car this session because I thought about my friends and how when you go to the circus and you see the clown car come out, it looks like there's only room for a few people in there. But once they open the doors, the clowns keep coming and keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. And you have that same opportunity with your family of choice. So don't be limited. Don't feel like you only have enough love, enough patience, enough time for one group of people, for your family of origin or for your husband or your wife. Make sure that your family is expansive and includes origin, choice, all of those things. It's important to have a balance. So whatever your clown car looks like, whoever is in it, you may be driving, you might be the passenger, who knows? Enjoy the people in your car, have fun, love on each other, support one another, encourage one another, but challenge each other to be better, to do better, to achieve your dreams, to chase after what you want in life. Pick up the slack where it's missing and lacking in other places. So that's all I have from the clown car this week. I hope you'll come back and scope with me again next week, where I'll be talking about blended families. I have some really, really great things to share about blended families, some tips about how to tackle some of the problems that blended families face, and good stuff like that. So I hope you'll come back and scope with me again and have a blessed week. Talk to you next week.